Got breaking news in Dallas, Texas tonight. Police say they've made an arrest in the murder of a mother who was just trying to sell her daughter's iPhone in a local parking lot. And the danger isn't over yet because witnesses say there were three suspects involved in this deadly attack. 3 people made contact with Martha Taryn about buying her daughter's cell phone. 3 people were there when Taryn, her daughter, and her son showed up to make that sale. They connected through an online app called OfferUp. But just minutes after Taryn brought out that iPhone 7, she was shot in the stomach. She was killed. And those murderers took off. Tonight, 2 of the killers are still out there. And who knows if one that they caught might be talking. What makes this story even more maddening, Martha Taryn was gunned down right in front of her 2 kids. She had even turned down the first site that was suggested as a meeting site and instead chose a more public spot to make the deal. So what on earth happened here? Millions of us make these deals online all the time. We go to these meeting spots, we make the sale. But is this a cautionary tale for everyone? Ryan Osborne is a reporter with the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. He joins me now to talk about this. Ryan, what happened? How did this actually go down in the parking lot of all places in medieval times that is busy with people? I assume it's lit. What happened?
Like you said, it was a very public place. It was in the parking lot of a popular restaurant. It was still light outside. It was about 6 p.m. It was right off of a major interstate highway just north of downtown Dallas. And apparently this mother from Dallas went to the parking lot. When she arrived, police say the suspect grabbed her phone that she was holding and shot her and then fled. And that's really the only details that they've released as far as the incident, today.
It's just unbelievable that someone would be so brazen for a phone, just to murder someone in cold blood for a phone. I want to play for you the Deputy Chief Thomas Castro from the Dallas Police Department and what he said a little bit earlier on about the guy that they caught. And his name is Lonzel Hunter, 22 years old, got a bit of a rap sheet himself. This is what the deputy chief had to say.
As a result of the investigation, detectives were able to identify suspect Hunter and obtain an arrest warrant. Today at approximately 11:30 a.m., Southwest Patrol officers, along with task force officers from the U.S. Marshal Service, arrested Hunter. A capital murder warrant for Hunter with a $500,000 bond has been signed. This is still an ongoing and active investigation.
Boy, is it ever, because he's not the only one they're looking for. So what's interesting here, Ryan, he said it's a capital murder warrant. This is the rap sheet on Lonzel Hunter, 22 years old and already facing down a 2016 evading arrest or detention, guilty. 2012 burglary to a habitation, guilty. Also 2012 unauthorized use of a vehicle, guilty. Here's the concern. Ryan, there were 3. There were 3 people who made that deal, and there are witnesses that say there were 3 people who were there. 2 of them are not in custody. So what's happening?
Well, they've emphasized today, police have, that it is an ongoing investigation. And like you said, witnesses at the scene, they told the victim's family, they told a local TV station that there were 3 suspects involved in the transaction, and police have not really revealed any other leads they have other than being able to link an account that Hunter had online with this transaction, and that was listed in the arrest warrant today. But they haven't given much more information than that. If there are 2 other suspects or however many more suspects there are, but that they've really emphasized that it is an ongoing, fluid investigation at this point.
Hold on for a second, Ryan. I want to bring in Ashley Merchant, who's a defense attorney in Atlanta. Ashley, as I understand the way this works, and I think we got Kirby Clements with us as well. I think you're live now. Can you hear me, Kirby?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask the both of you this, because the way I see this stuff playing out, when you have multiple suspects and you catch one of them, it's called a squeeze play. And it gets heavy real fast. It gets ugly real fast. Ashley, I can see that you're smiling because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Is that the reason we're seeing capital murder, which is death penalty in Texas, as a warrant for that guy?
Definitely. That's the playing card that they have. They can actually say that we could seek the death penalty. And one of the big things that they have, one of the big playing cards that the state has right now is to say, you know what, if you help us, we'll be willing to take the death penalty off the table. If you help us, we'll be willing to possibly cut you a deal, possibly something less than life without parole. And so that's the card that he's got to play. And if I was defending him, that's what I would be playing. That's the only hope, because they've got him dead to rights.
Yeah, Ashley, I want to get Kirby in on this, because there's the other side of that coin. If he actually pulled the trigger, how can you offer him a deal and two other guys, if they do track him down because of him squealing, if he does that, how would they get something more serious than him? How does that work?
It would be a very tough sell, because as a prosecutor, you use a small fish to catch a big fish. And if he is identified as the shooter, you know he's the person that's the most dangerous. You know he's the person that you want to go after, and you want to bring the hammer down. The other two guys are involved, but this man is going to have to convince me, if I'm the prosecutor, that he was not the trigger man. If that's the case, if he can't convince me of that, I'll take death off the table. But life without parole is still on the table. And he's going to have to do something to help himself out.
I don't want to be Lonzell Hunter right now. I don't want to be Lonzell Hunter. I don't want to be his friends. I certainly don't want to be the family of this poor woman, Martha Taryn, who just wanted to sell an iPhone 7 and got shot dead in a parking lot because of it. This is something many of us do. If you know anything about this, if you have any information about this, there's a tip line for you. It's 214-373-TIPS, 373-8477, 373-8477. If you can help track down those other two, because they're out there somewhere tonight. That mom that you just saw was just using an app like we all do. She wanted to find a buyer for her daughter's iPhone. Millions of people use these apps. But how can you make sure that you're safe if you're going to do this, if you're going to make a transaction like this? You might be surprised at the kinds of things are set up to make sure you are.
Watch Michaela tomorrow morning starting at
Gun down in front. But the problem, 22. We're continuing to follow that breaking news. Just a short time ago, police in Texas announcing that they've made an arrest, and this is him, 22-year-old Lonzell Hunter. He was taken in connection with the shooting death of a Texas mother, gunned down in front of her two kids. Nice. But the problem is there may be still two other suspects out there on the run, because the witnesses say there were three, and if you only have one, that leaves two. This is Martha Taryn, shot and killed while trying to sell her daughter's iPhone on Sunday night in a Dallas parking lot. And we have seen this kind of tragedy before, where someone is lured to a location on a buy-sell website and then gunned down or robbed at the meeting spot. So how do you create a safe environment for everyday deals between strangers? Because there are millions of these deals going on all the time. I'm going to show you a couple of signs that you may find fascinating. Ashley and Kirby are going to stick with me on this one, but guys, I had not seen these before. They're called safe zones. You see these kinds of photographs. This one's in California. Safe exchange zone, 24-hour surveillance. This one's in Rowlett, Texas. Safe trade stations right there at the police department. And this is a JCPenney parking lot in Maine. You can't read the sign, but I'll let you know right now, it is a safe zone where there's surveillance cameras. And the advice is, if you're going to make one of these transactions and meet someone online, go to one of these places so they know full well they can smile and say cheese. Anything they do will be recorded. So that helps people going forward, Kirby Clements and Ashley Merchant. But it does not help this poor woman who has been shot dead, and there are two men on the loose tonight. Real quickly, I want to talk about the electronic trail. Ashley Merchant, we're talking about an iPhone 7. We're talking about websites. This is how they all connected. That has got to be helpful for the investigation.
And that's the thing. This defendant that they have in custody, he may actually not have that much information, because it's not hard to track these criminals. It's not hard to track their electronic signature. And so they've got iPhones, they've got accounts. He used an account on OfferUp. He used bank accounts. And so his friends are going to be linked to those accounts. I'm sure the police are out talking to all of his friends. I'm sure they're doing a forensic evaluation on his phone, any computers that were used, and they can probably find these other two suspects. So if he wants to try and make some type of deal, he's going to have to hurry to do it, because the police probably don't need him.
Yeah, Kirby Clements, weigh in here on these great crime-fighting tactics that dumb criminals seem to forget all about. I watch Forensic Files. I know how this works. There is surveillance video in all of these parking lots. This was in medieval times. That is a very popular chain. My guess is there's surveillance all over that parking lot, and that someone somewhere has a license plate or at least an MO or at least a description of the other two.
Oh, this happened in front of so many witnesses, in front of this woman's daughter. I mean, everybody was seen. I think even the first 2 digits of the car's license plate number were actually reported to the police. In addition, they're going to be able to tell whether he was texting his friends and calling his friends, so they'll be able to know which number belongs to who, and they're going to figure this whole thing out, because this crime is absolutely senseless, to shoot someone when they've given you the items that you came to steal in the first place.
Yeah, and it only happened within minutes, too. I don't even know if they asked. I think it just happened so instantaneously. This poor mother of 2 and her poor children, who no doubt will be eyewitnesses in this case. They are adult children. Stay put for a second, guys. Just take a look at that. We do have that phone number. If you know anything about this, Crime Stoppers, 214-373-TIPS. That's 373-8477. I'm going to switch gears here. How does a $43 million jackpot, a slots jackpot, turn into instead a steak dinner? This is not a joke, and this is something you need to know. It's all in the fine print.
Some serious allergic.
When you play the slot machines at a casino, you're really hoping to cash in on that small chance that you're going to take home the big money. And that's exactly what Katrina Bookman thought when she paid her money and took her chances and played the slots at the Resorts World Casino in Queens, New York. And then this happened. Big money. Bigger than she ever imagined. Look at those numbers. Oh, my God. Almost $43 million. And that's more than worthy of this selfie, isn't it? I would do the same thing. So you would think that she'd be riding that joy right into the sunset to the stars, right? But when Katrina went to go and collect that jackpot, the casino said, no dice. They said the slot machine malfunctioned, wasn't working, computer glitch, you know, yada, 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 yada. And I don't even think she could hear the rest of it. Instead, the casino offered Katrina, you ready? A very nice steak dinner. That was the consolation prize, steak dinner. Any way you want it. And in case you think that the Resorts World Casino is a small-time operation that doesn't pay out a whole lot, think again. This is a casino that pays out about $50 million every single day. And they say the law is on their side on this one. And Katrina says, I'm not so sure about that. It's worth finding out. So she lawyered up. And she joins me now. Katrina Bookman is here. Her attorney, Alan Ripk, is here as well. Katrina, I am stunned that the picture of you with $43 million behind you is enough to give joy to all of us, because I thought maybe you'd buy us all drinks tonight. I want you to take me through the moment you realized you thought you'd actually won it.
It was so exciting. I mean, it was like a miracle in disguise.
Did you scream or did you go silent?
I actually screamed. I actually was like, called my partner. It was amazing.
So one of your friends, I think, was had a cell phone video of
Yes.
you as you were. Can you just sort of tell me what it was that we're seeing? It's kind of crazy. I guess she was probably crazy as well.
Yes, it was. It was something.
What are we seeing here?
We're seeing right now is everybody's coming around me. They taking pictures. They taking all kinds of things, and they telling me, I'm quitting my job. I'm leaving with you. This was some of the workers was just saying to me, and it was just so amazing, and it was a little nervous because there was just so much action going around. Everybody taking pictures. Everybody.
Yeah. And then some security guard comes over and he says, ma'am, you need to come with me.
Yes.
And what was that like? What happened then?
I just said to myself, here we go. Here we go. It's just about to happen. It's about to happen.
You're thinking you're getting the money.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I'm getting the money.
And that wasn't what he wanted you to come in the room and talk to you about, right?
Well, actually, they gave me a dispute form. They gave me a dispute form, and they wanted to make sure I was on the camera, and they got in touch with the camera people. And
They're saying, here's a dispute. Aren't you thinking, where's my check? Where's my money?
Yes.
And what'd they
exactly.
say?
He told me to come back into the next day at 10 o'clock in the morning.
So you didn't find out till the next day what they were going to tell you, which
Yes.
was?
Which was, sorry for the inconvenience. The machine was manufactured. We would like to malfunction, and we would like to offer you a steak dinner.
And your reaction was?
Are you serious? A steak dinner? I'm like, oh, no way. No way. A steak dinner? How can you offer me a steak dinner? What did I win? That was the first question. I won something. What did I win?
What did you win?
Actually, I don't know. No one got back in touch with me at all. Nobody called me back.
So a little bird told me that you heard from one of the workers in the casino, lawyer up. Did you hear someone actually say that?
Actually, yes. When they told me to come back in the next day, they told me to make sure I get in touch with the supervisor that's on duty at that time. And she said to me, women to women, you need to get a lawyer because they are not going to try to pay you.
Sounds like this might have happened before if she knew to say that. And so you did lawyer up, and that lawyering up is right beside you. That's Alan Ripka. So,
Yes.
okay, what are the chances that they can actually get out of this?
Well, as far as we're concerned, they're not getting out of this. As far as we're concerned, Ms. Bookman won. It's displayed on the screen that she won. They had no problem when she was putting the coins in to take all the money. They didn't return that money. And now that she wins, they have the opportunity to say it's a broken machine. Now, I guess they could say that every time anybody ever won. So as far as we're concerned, we are looking for them to pay her in full.
And they say that the law is on their side. They say that the New York Gaming Commission is real clear about, look, if there's a malfunction, there's a malfunction. And that's just the reality of it. So I guess I'm curious, like, when do they get to actually say it's a malfunction, and when do they have to say it's not a malfunction?
Well, actually, that's exactly the point. So they can claim anything that goes wrong is a malfunction. So if it's a malfunction that you caused or you were negligent about, or upon your inspection of these machines didn't determine had anything wrong with them.
Do you have to forensically get someone to go in there and take a look and find the proof that it's a malfunction?
Well, we're going to do so. However, when we send preservation letters to say don't do anything, don't touch it, hold on to it, they claim that they pulled it out, fixed it, and put it back in play. And what's interesting about that is that what about all the people that played it before, Ms. Bookman? If it was malfunction, does it mean that no one could have ever won? That all the money that all the patrons put in for days, weeks, months before this was determined is lost?
So they bring in millions and millions and millions and millions upon millions, dozens of millions of dollars every day. And I'm curious as to how much of that came from that machine, because maybe all of those people deserve to line up and say, hey, that thing was malfunctioning, and yet I paid a whole bunch of money. I'm going to ask you about that in a minute. But when we come back, I'm also going to ask, what are the odds? Because there's precedent here. What do you think the odds are? Let's just play this game, shall we? Back in a moment. When Katrina Bookman thought she'd won $43 million at the Resorts World Casino, she had some life-changing plans for that money. Wouldn't we all, right? But the casino had some other plans for Katrina. So she came here to talk to me about it. Brought her attorney, Alan Ripka. I'm glad you're both here. So, Alan, I was going into the break saying, what are the odds? What are the odds that they will prevail? What are the odds that you will prevail? Because in precedent-setting cases before, it seems like the laws are all almost rigged against the little guy. Hate to use the election phrase, but it does seem that the casinos usually win.
Well, when the little guy has a problem, they go out and they find an attorney like myself to help them beat the odds when they're rigged against them. And that's what we're going to do. It seems entirely inequitable or unfair that the casino, because of how big it is, gets to win against the player that they invite in, they advertise to come in, they spend the little money they have, and that money gets taken from them.
If it comes to a settlement, would you do that? Would you guys settle?
Of course. I mean, we're talking to them. We're saying, come to the table. Sit with us, negotiate with us, because if you don't,
what would you
leave us
for?
No choice.
And $43 million is a lot of money.
Well, well, it is, but that's how much we want.
Yeah. What would you settle for?
Maybe half.
Maybe half. You'd be okay with that?
Sure will. Sure will.
Look at you. Sure. Why not? So, okay. Seeing this, who would go back to? Would you ever go back to that casino? Would you ever play those?
No way. I don't think I will play any slot machines anywhere.
So it's
anymore.
not just the Resorts World Casino. By the way, why they're getting their name all over the news for this, right? In having this case come out there, I can't imagine that they like this, that they're on television in this way, because you're saying I wouldn't want to go and put my money into these slot machines because when you win, you don't.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you think there's a chance you could end up a winner. So you're still kind of in the betting game, right?
Yes, I guess so, yes.
Did you make some of those crazy plans? Like, oh, I'm going to get a yacht, I'm going to go to
Yes.
Florida,
It's crazy, but the funniest thing is, I didn't really think about myself too much. I thought this is more about my community and really my family, you know.
You got to keep me posted on this one and let me know what happens. Because I have a feeling this is going to, you may go the distance. You may go the distance. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Nice
Thank
to
you.
have you. Thank you, everyone, too. It's been nice to have you here tonight. I hope you come back at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Forensic Files starts right now.